Hi, it's Enrique with Canine Perspective. We have Corey in the back with Tango, and I have Remington. Remington is a dog reactive dog. So on leash, on walks, he might tend to bark at other dogs. So we're just gonna run through what to do when a dog is coming your way when you're walking the sidewalk. So, few things. What we like to do, in the training videos, we're always like, give slack, the J. Let the dog make mistakes so you can correct them when you're training. That's when you're training. When you're dealing with reactivity, when I see a dog or when we see dogs, our handlers, we have the same thumb through the loop and then closing it, and the E-collar is usually in my right hand, and then with that J, we just tighten it up. There's no tension. I'm not like holding the dog back. I just give enough slack so it's relaxed, but if needed, I'm ready. To pull or to pull up. We always want to pull up to de-escalate a dog. We never want to pull back because then that makes them want to go forward. If you pull up, they kind of just it calms them down. And also, Remington won't have this much leash to lunge. He only has this much, so it's not that much for him to reach through another dog. So I'm going to start walking that way, and then we'll just show a little exercise we do. So if I see a dog coming, I just tighten up my leash, and then I pull to the side. I'll pull right here, behind that tree, you can't see me. So I'm gonna pull to the side, tap for the sit, good. And I face the dog, tighten my leash, good. And then I continue my walk. So, for the camera's sake, I don't know if you're going to be able to see me. You're good. We want to give more space than I did there, maybe to like the edge. So if the sidewalk's here, maybe going back here. Good. So here, my leash is short, and I have my remote. It's the appropriate number. With dogs, you might need to bump up the number. Just depends on experience and everything. How Remington takes dogs with the handler. So the reason why we want to keep the distance is because for Remington and for the person, you're also when we're on the side. So if I'm facing the sidewalk here, we always want Remington to face the dog. So if the dog's coming this way, I'm going to obviously be more farther away and face the dog. I don't want to, cover Remington away from the dog or make him face the opposite way to not see the dog. But I want him to face the dog, so if he were to bark, it'd be up and tap until he de-escalates, and then just keep the pressure on until he calms down. We're not blasting the dog. Like right now, I'm on 30. That's his working number, and then 30 got him to sit. He's responding well. We're not blasting the dog. So again, dog's coming, shorten my leash, give space. Since he's muzzled, I don't really need to worry about him redirecting on me. So sometimes when you're correcting a dog, or if the dog really wants to go somewhere, they want to let out their frustration either on you or whatever's closest. So if he didn't have the muzzle, he's getting frustrated. I would want to take at least a step back or a step to the right, and then just keep it like this. So there's no tension here, but if he were to de-escalate, it'd be up and tap until he calms down. But right now, he's not, tense, or he's not, reacting to anything. So if before he's doing that and I have the tension and then the dog's coming, he's starting to load up already due to the tension I'm giving on his neck. So we want to keep it relaxed, keep everything relaxed, and only tension and pressure when needed to correct him. But since he has a muzzle, I'm not too worried about that. Still the same thing, up and tap to de-escalate if he were to escalate. For Remington, we haven't seen any reactivity. So it's probably due to the discipline we've been applying to his walks and everything, a very structured walk. So he's too concentrated on being in heel with us, so he's probably not focused on the other dogs. But if he was having the reactivity issues, it'd be the same thing, but we would correct for certain things. So if he's having issues, we would start correcting for looking at the dog too long. So if he's glancing and then looks away, he's glancing, that's fine. If he's looking at the dog and is locked and he's following, he's like watching they're like almost stalking, then we give a tap to correct him. So what should happen is he should disengage and look away. If your number's too low, you'll see the twitch happening, but he's still looking at the dog. So you might need to bump it up 5 or 10, tap again, see how what he does. If he starts getting, loaded up again, like starting to load up and tap until he starts to calm down. Soon enough, you'll reach a number where he's like, okay, that wasn't really worth the hit just to stare at this dog. So over time, as you correct him for looking at dogs, if he starts to get bad, you'll see him just avoid the dog. That goes away after a while. Remington will start to become more curious instead of, stalking. You'll see his nose start to move. He'll start to smell the dog. He'll take glances here and there, but then there's no need for tapping for quick glances because it's nothing too intense. So then he starts to realize, oh, I can look at the dog, I just can't start to react to it, bark at it, stalk it or anything like that, any of those inappropriate behaviors. So that's why we do this exercise. It's easier for the owner. If you're going to try to walk past a dog and you have not done this step first, it's going to be very difficult for you because you're walking, you got your e-collar, you got your leash, you're looking at the other dog, it's a whole bunch of mess, and you're also close. So when we give space, we shorten the leash. I watch Remington, and then I use my peripherals to watch the dog passing just to make sure that the owner has their dog under control. If their owner does not have the dog under control, I will do my best to get away from that situation. I don't want to put Remington in harm or the other dog. So that's what we've been doing for his reactivity. We haven't seen any, just moving to the side, tightening up your leash, having your remote on you. If needed, take a few steps to the right, being ready to de-escalate, going up. If you were to redirect, it wouldn't be an issue because I'm already on my way up. So if you wanted to come at me, my arm is already set to pull that way. If I had it like this, he can easily just go to my leg or go to the leash or my hand. So this is what you want it to look like, and then correct as needed. Again, if he's just kind of like neutral, I know it's kind of hard to see his eyes, but if he's just kind of neutral and his head is just kind of low and he's not having that posture of like a chest up and everything and ears forward, then there's no need to correct. If you start seeing stalking, maybe like a load up, so like maybe his ears go forward, or he starts like maybe like whining, or you see his like lips start to move, or like puckering, or like maybe growling. You want to correct all those behaviors. So yeah, that's what we usually do, what we tell the owners to do, practice that first. And then once you see a consistency with the stepping away and letting the dog pass, once you see him being consistent with that, then you can go ahead and try walking by a dog. Obviously you want to keep him muzzled in case anything happens. Make sure it's a wider sidewalk. These sidewalks are pretty wide. But again, you can still use this dirt as to your advantage or anything to the side, grass, and continue walking. You just give more space.